And Jim, you are up.
Okay, so tonight I'm going to tie the caribou caddis. It's just a simple caddis fly, and I'm not going to try to talk you into telling you that this catches more fish than any other caddis fly. But what I really like about this fly, of the different caddis flies that I have tied, this one floats longer and better than any other one that I've ever done. So that's the one I pretty much tie all the time now. And I wanted to demonstrate it because several weeks ago, Lee had bought a package of assorted dubbing waxes. And he was asking what you use different ones for. And he had one that was called a high tack wax. And one of the steps in this fly is a technique called touch dubbing that I don't know that we've ever covered before. But to do touch dubbing, this high tack wax is perfect for the job. So it'll, give you an idea, first of all, how to do touch dubbing and what you can do with your high tack wax if you have any. So let's get a close up here. Oh no, I'm gone. Come on, wake up. There we go.
Yay.
So, yes. And no, tell me I'm frozen. Come on, guys. There we go. All right, now we're in business. So this is the caribou caddis. And again, it doesn't look a whole lot different than any other caddis pattern. And as far as material goes, I'm going to tie it in a size 14, just a standard dry fly hook. Actually, this one is a 1 extra long, but you can any dry fly hook. I tie them in 14s, 16s, and 18s. For a thread, I use an 8/0 camel thread, unithread. And for the dubbed body, I use Hairtron dubbin light olive brown. For the underwing, I use Parapost. For the regular wing, I use this is bleached deer hair short fine. So I mean, you can use caribou, you can use moose, you can use deer hair or whatever, but I like this stuff I use this for my elk hair caddises too. It's very small and fine, just like the label says. That's probably about a 1/2 inch long. And I just find it very easy to work with. Then the collar is made with a hare's ear plus dubbing and olive brown. And Terry, you were asking about the color of that marabou jig. I'm kind of thinking it was close to that color, about an olive brown.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, so start by taking the hook and debarbing it. Now, if you read
what's that tool called?
Round nose pliers.
Round nose, okay.
Round nose pliers, yeah. Like I say, this is just the best debarbing tool I've ever come across. So if you guys read the email and you saw the list of ingredients for this pattern, you saw there was a list of ingredients, and behind each ingredient was something in parentheses. So basically, what was in the the original list was the material that they used in the video, Tim Flagler's video about how to tie this. And what was in parentheses is the stuff that I substitute. So just like any fly, you can substitute so many things. So I'm going to start the thread probably about a third the way back on the shank. I'm going to cover the entire shank right down to the bend of the hook. You know what? I got to get my magnifiers on so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, and then I'm just going to twist my vise, like maybe 20 degrees, so the thread is not hanging right on the hook itself. I'm going to make a small dubbing noodle with the light brown Hairtron dubbing. I'm going to take a small bundle of it, and I do that business that I think Amy is the one that showed us, that you take it and you just kind of pull the ends, pull it apart and put it together again. And I find that it helps to line up the fibers and makes it easier to work with. And then we're just going to put a small amount of dubbing on there. So if you wanted to use a dubbing wax for this part of the fly, you would use your normal dubbing wax. I don't know if it's called low tack or whatever, but this would be where you would use that type of dubbing wax. And then we're going to create a body. I strive for making it filling up about 2/3 the shank, and hopefully it's going to be tapered. And yeah, that actually turned out pretty well. That's what I'm looking for. Now I am going to take a strand of the parapost. I'll cut off the end to even out the tips. Tie it on with the parapost on my side of the hook. So when I tighten it up, it runs up on top of the hook. A couple of fairly loose wraps, and then I pull it through till it's past the eye. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie that down. Then I'm going to cut off the parapost, and I try to make it right about the same length as the bend of the hook. So I just put my scissors right on the back of the hook there, and I let the parapost relax, and I cut it. If you were to pull this before you cut it, then it would just, when it relaxed, it would bounce back and it would be too short. Now I'm going to get a very small bit of hair off the off this hide here, and like probably want to go about the size of a wooden match. I mean, it's that small a clump. So that might even be a little bit too much. But I don't know how well you can actually see, where are we? See that. So a very small clump. I'm going to hold it out straight. And I'm going to cut it right close to the surface itself. And one thing about this small fine hair, you can't really stack it, because the smallest stacker that I have, you put it in there and it just lays sideways. But the nice thing is, if you pull it off right, it's pretty well stacked the way it is. So I'm just going to hold it by the tips, I'm going to brush out any kind of loose or under fur. I'm going to pull on it a couple of times. There's really not much there. I'm going to take some of this away because that's still too big. There we go. And then I'm going to place this so the tips of the hair are just past the bend of the hook. I'm going to hold it in place. A couple of loose wraps. And then third time around, I'm going to start pulling it tighter and tighter. And you want to make sure you hold that hair on top of the hook nice and tight, or else it will it will splay and start spinning. So now I'm going to trim off the butts in front, and I'm going to try to do it in a taper. And you see, I'm not letting go of the hair until I get done with all my wraps, because I'm just never convinced that it's not going to roll if I don't do it right here. Hopefully I'll cut this without cutting the thread. And then I'm going to continue wrapping that thread down the butt section. I'm going to run it back up again. And so that's a pretty nice taper. Still got a few little strands sticking out, but I'm not going to worry about that. So it's almost like you're making a head here. And then at this point, if for some reason when you tighten up the thread and it's too tight and the hairs are wanting to stick straight out, what you want to do is just come back and hold the hair down and just keep working that thread up with very loose wraps. And that will convince those hairs that they should stick down. So we're going to do that. Then I'm going to get out the olive dubbing. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to prepare it the same way, where the whole business of stretching it, pulling it apart, and putting it back together again. I need a little more than that. And again, I just find that this makes the dubbing just a little easier to work with. For years and years, I had struggled with dubbing flies. I just couldn't get it and couldn't get it. And a few little techniques like preparing the dubbing this way, and the big thing is just to put on the smallest amount that you can grab a hold of. And that seemed to work out pretty well. Okay, so I got this dubbing prepared. Now I'm going to take my dubbing wax and I'm going to put it on about 1 inch or 1.5 inches of the thread. Now you don't put much on this stuff. When it says high tack, it is incredibly tacky. And this is almost gel-like. I don't know if you can see it, but let's see. I mean, you can just squeeze it. You know, it's not very solid at all. It's almost like a big goo. And you're going to put a little of that on the thread and just kind of spread it out. And then put the cover back on right away. Because if you don't, you could do something silly like I did earlier today and hit it with my elbow and it fell over and it fell near the dubbing, and oh man, what a mess that was. But anyway, you're just going to take your dubbing, you're going to pull some out, and you're going to literally touch it to the thread, and it will stay there.
So why did you dub this second bunch of or wax that second bunch of dubbing?
You talking about what I'm doing right now?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, let me finish the fly and I'll go through exactly why I do that. So I kind of treat this like you might treat a partridge feather on a soft tackle. I try to get it going facing back. And now I am going to wrap this around here and coax all that dubbing to the back. So with this touch dubbing, you can see this stuff is very, very loose. And what happens, okay, we're going to make a head here and hit it with the hit it with a whip finish. Cut the thread, kind of pull out whatever didn't get stuck in there. So what makes this fly float so well is this collar here with its loose dubbing and the antron tail or the antron underwing. They have a tendency to form air bubbles. And those air bubbles is what makes this fly float so much better than, say, an elk hair caddis. So, I mean, that's it. That's all there is to it. It's a ball of fur and, you know, a little bit of deer hair. Pretty simple fly. But like I say, this thing just, it floats like a cork. You can catch 3, 4, 5 fish and flick it a couple of times with a false cast, and it just keeps on floating. And that's what I love about it. So that's it. There's not much to it, but you know, when it comes to caddises, that's my go-to.
And that's caribou?
So the original recipe used caribou. And I tried caribou and I didn't care for it as much as this, you know, this short, fine deer hair. That's, you know, it's like anything. You can use whatever, you could use elk hair. But the original recipe was using caribou. And like I say, I tried it and I wasn't crazy about it. So I went back to this deer hair and I've been using that ever since.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
thanks, Jimmy.
Any questions for Jim? I know that would have looked really good.
Oh, the dubbing thing.
Yes.
Two different styles of dubbing.
Yes.
And why was that?
Well, so the first one, when you're making the body, you're trying to get a, you know, basically a similar to using a piece of chenille for making a body. So you want that to be thin and you know, closely knit and stuff like that. Okay. Whereas this collar here, you want it to be loose. You want the strands to be unhindered, whatever. So, you know, the strands are pretty long. Some of them are as long as the wing is itself. So again, this collar here just traps air bubbles and just helps it float. So different technique, different purpose. That's pretty much it.
Very good.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Really good.
No, they were nosing up at Bennett, and I have no idea what they were going for, but I was trying some dry flies from clink hammers to foam beetles, and nothing. Maybe that would have made the difference, because I gave the whole dry fly a try. But it was fun.
Yeah, I had one of those days too. Fish were rising, I couldn't get a hit.
Yeah, I went back to nymphs, and for those who actually saw that friends of Facebook, I put a video out there of something that I know Frank's seen it for sure. He's laughing at it. I'll have to add it out there, but I was fishing where people know I like to fish, right at the inlet for the hatchery at the end of zone 1, and was nymph fishing and saw the indicator drop, and I set the hook and I felt the fish fighting. And then as the fight was going on, I'm like, what in the world is going on? Because I just saw this very thick yellow line of me fighting this fish. And what it ended up being was someone put a trout on a stringer and lost the stringer, and the fish took off and was doing quite well. But my nymph hook and the stringer came in contact. And when the fish kind of moved, it made my indicator go, and I set the hook on the stringer, and I ended up fighting a fish on a stringer. And so it's not, if you do Facebook and go to Friends of Bennett Spring, you'll see me. I put the video out there. I'll have to see if I can put it on the computer and show you guys. So this fish had a lot of fight on it, because usually a trout will not survive a stringer for that long, but he was toting it around, and he fought me for a while because I had 7X tippet. I didn't want to go too crazy with it. But once I got close enough, I grabbed the stringer and never netted him, kept him underwater, removed the stringer, and he took off. So I think he should be fine, but I know something like that is really damaging to a trout, but he took off. So I caught someone else's fish that was on a stringer. So, and I kept the stringer as the momentum. So I asked for a lunker patch for it because it was 36 inches long, but only a 1/4 inch girth, but man, it looked good.
So Lee, did you get on in time to see the touch dubbing?
I got on maybe 5 minutes into it.
Okay.
I'm sitting here in New Jersey right now, and
oh yeah, you're in your chipper. I could see
so
it.
that was the business where you had asked about the high tack whack dubbing.
yeah.
So you have, and that's what you use it for, is that touch dubbing. That's one of the things you can use it for.
Okay. So I got all three with this package. It gave me 3 different types.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Any
Okay.
last? What's
The
that?
only thing I said, the only thing we had last night was torrential downpour. No winds out here, but they said it might flood in the park where I am.
Oh no.
So far it didn't, so I'm okay now.
At least you got a good working axle, if you need to hightail it moving down the road.
Hurry up and throw it on the back of the truck and take off.
Yep. All right. So, you know what? I'm going to head it off to Walt. You wanted to talk about a tie-in at the VA hospital?
Okay, we're scheduled for not the soldiers, the veterans home. It's not the VA hospital.
Okay.
And it's on the 13th, which is Thursday, and the 27th. And the time is from 9:30 through 11:30. There was a situation that came up, and I don't know if I'll be able to make it this week.
Okay.
So is there anybody that can take over?
And which veterans home is this one? So
The one over on Lewis and Clark,
okay.
North County.
North County. If somebody would be able to take over, I can give them the information, and the person's name is Rosalind Hughes, and I'll give them the phone number. But there's no way.
He'll be on the road.
I have a family situation that popped up.
Well, I've got an appointment, so I won't be able to make it. Why don't we just put it off until, what's the next time that you would go?
The 27th.
The 27th.
I might be able to make that one.
Well, I'll make that one too. It's just that unfortunately,
I could put out an email and we'll see if anyone could help out. So once we're done with this, I'll send out an email that from the same that I do the Zoom call, our weekly, and see if anyone could help out and to contact you. So we'll have you as the contact for that.
I mean, I could pay for Lee's plane trip ticket back.
So what's the time frame?
9:30 to 11:30.
So this will be a kind of neat thing if people, you know, who are retired and could get out. So it's an early morning during the week.
Normally what happened was Don Ayers, Terry, Roger,
Pittsford.
Bill Kelly, and we'd all go up and tie deer-haired mouse on safety pins or whatever, and put it on the veterans' house coat. And then afterwards, we'd all go to lunch. It was a nice get together. But
it sounds like a good get together for sure. So I still think you guys, if you know, even if you can't do it on the 13th, you know, doing it twice a month, I think that's a good outing for those who could attend it. And you know, get those dates to me. I'll put those in our weekly emails so people know when they're going to be out. I'll start putting those out there immediately and see if we could get more participation in that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to do a couple of chaperone dates before I try to go by myself.
we don't go by ourselves. We go as a group.
Yeah, it's usually a group of people. You just go talk to them and tie some stuff up. It's
Basically they don't even time.
yeah, you're just there chatting with
They're
them.
just in moral support.
Yep.
Now also, like on the 12th, she told me that they have a big lake in the back of the VA home, part of the VA home, and they're taking veterans out fishing. Same time frame from 9:30 to 11:30, and if anybody wants to be able to go out and just give them moral support and help some guy in a wheelchair bait his hook and catch a couple fish, they'd be welcome.
Yeah, we'll put this in our weekly email for sure. And we'll have you the contact and maybe add another 2 or 3 once you guys get this up and running. I think this is a good event. Again, they're not looking for people to show them how to do flies and all that. They're just looking for someone to kind of talk to them about fishing. And if they're going in the back lake, just be there to support them and help them out a little bit. So I think this would be a great
A
activity.
lot of these guys have had strokes or I mean, they're in a nursing home. They're veterans and probably have nobody to talk to. And so you'll be able to hear stories and about what they did.
I think it's a good plan.
Yeah.
So I'll get with you on that, but I will send out something immediately after the meeting. See if anyone can help us out.
I'm gonna have to call her tomorrow. I don't know about the fishing on Wednesday. I might try to go up there. But I have some family issues.
Yeah, things come up, family comes first.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's it, guys.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll get with you, and I think this is a good path forward. You know, we might not be able to do it this 13th, but the 27th for sure. So again, everyone that's on, look for a quick email coming after this, and we'll see if we could maybe get the 13th started. So, Walt, I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, okay.
Does anyone know if Mending the Line will be streaming anytime soon?
I don't know, and the plan, what I thought would be kind of neat is it lasted 3 days in the theaters. Just didn't get the fanfare to keep it running in the theater. So once it comes on like DVD, I'll buy a copy, and then we'll see if we could show up at, like, if a VA or American Legion will host us, where I could bring either my laptop and a projector, and we could just sit there and we could do nachos and hot dogs or something like that, and just kind of sit and watch the movie together. So
Okay.
once that comes on video, we'll start planning that. All right, so next I'm gonna let Frank talk. He's got some maybe good news for us. We had in the past met up at the library at the Daniel Boone and did some fly tying, and so we might be picking that up again with Frank's help. So go ahead, Frank.
I've found a place for us to tie. It's my American Legion post. It's American Legion post 208. It's at 225 Old Sulphur Spring Road in Manchester. We can do Saturday or Sunday morning, whatever you guys decide when you want to meet. We can meet in the mornings. We can meet for up to 4 hours. I don't want to overdo it because we're kind of busy, but I got the blessing last Wednesday from our commander, and I gave Mick the information. So whatever day you guys decide to tie, just let me know and I'll mark it on the calendar, and we're ready to go. And I've got a key to the Legion because I attend bar there twice a week, so that will be no problem getting in and closing up.
Cool. And so we'll probably try to plan that, and I'll see what everyone's interested. If you want to do it once a month or twice a month, we could kind of pick, like first Saturday of the month and third Sunday of the month if we want to break it up. But we'll come up with kind of a time that we know it's going to be consistent, by saying, first, second, third Saturday of the month, and then go from there. So I do want to reach out to Mike, who's the commander out there first, let him know who we are. And then once he knows we're a bunch of good guys, we'll get that scheduled. So might not happen in July, but I'm looking at August. And then
That's fine.
Just
let me know, Mick.
Yep. Feedback.
What's the post number?
208.
American Legion post 208.
So that way I'll ask you guys what you're interested. Is it, once a month, good enough, not enough? We want to do 2 a month. It's whatever you guys feel like doing. I'm thinking 1 a month is probably good because we'll tie 1 weekend, and then in like 2 weekends after that, we'll do an actual fishing event. So I'm thinking, once a month would be kind of nice. And, that could even be, honestly, that could be the time where if I get that Mending the Line on CD or DVD, we could watch that. That could be just a fun event where we go out there, someone get, teach a fly, or we could just go out there, watch a, river runs through it, Mending the Line. It's just kind of a social thing. And, if somebody wants to showcase a fly, they could do that, and we could even do fun events where we say, show up, we'll be there 3 hours. And during that 3 hours, we'll sit there, chat, have a little something to eat, tie up, a dozen flies. And at the end of we'll all swap flies, and you get to have, a nice little box of 12 different flies to go fishing. So we'll make it a fun event. So it won't be a non-fishing event, but we'll be tying. If we want to do some casting in a parking lot, we could possibly do that as well. I don't know how big the parking lot is, but
it's a good size.
Good size. So, we could bring a couple rods out there if somebody wants to, practice some casting. So look forward to that. Again, thanks for bearing with me. It's been a trying couple months for my family, a lot of stuff going on. So I haven't been online. I haven't been doing as much as I should, but I do thank you guys for being patient. And then, some of you guys stepping up and taking, reins on some of the things. So much appreciated, but, we're hoping that craziness is behind me and we will get back to a normal program.
Hey,
So,
Rick,
yep.
I don't mean to interrupt, but we had a meeting with our luncheon this last Friday with the guy that started
Clint Carpenter.
Clint Carpenter. And during this luncheon, some people have mentioned about, your video or the conference that we have, but they had no idea that they can go online and review past events.
Yeah, and I do have it. Let me double check it. I thought I had it. Yeah. I'm looking at the email right now. It has, our Zoom call info. I say, permanent weekly, here's our meeting ID, password. And then right there in green, it says past Zoom call recordings can be found at YouTube, and I have a link. So it's in that
What is it?
email.
What is it? Yeah, but what is it? What do we have to look up?
You
Go
click
there?
on the link. You click on the link and you're going to get to all the videos.
I thought it was something like Fishing with Mick or something like that.
It is, and the link is right there. It's highlighted right there in
Okay.
blue. You click on that, it said past Zoom call recordings can be found at YouTube and then there's a link. You click on that, you're going to all the past videos.
Okay, does it now when you have the videos, are these named for whatever fly that was?
No, I could start doing that from this point forward. Usually I just put the date of the meeting. So, like I would have just put today as, July 10th, 2023. So if somebody was looking for the meeting that they missed, they could go by date, but I could probably still put meeting number and then, hyphen it and then put, whatever fly that was being tied that day.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay.
Let's look through all these just to find a particular fly.
Yeah. So I could do that. That's just a quick formatting of the title. That's not a big deal, but it's
Yeah,
in
I
the
do, Mick.
email.
I've got of course, I have a lead slide for all of our videos with the date it was made, who tied it, and what the fly was. And that just when you pop the video up on YouTube, it just that's what shows up as your flash screen before the video even starts. So
Yeah, I have to learn how to do all that video editing and stuff. That would be kind of neat. Where
John, what do you have? How do you get on yours?
again on YouTube, it's Flatwater Fly Fishers. FLATWATER Fly Fishers. I'll put a link in the chat.
and his is really good. Like you said, you could find stuff. And I'm trying to think of the gentleman that he had not too long ago from Australia. It was like Dave Wilson.
Dave Wilson.
Dave Wilson. Lee was on that call as well. So I was glad that someone else from our meeting was there to kind of nod and say that was probably one of the best videos, where, had a meeting where someone actually talked and went through stuff. It's an hour.
Mick, I did not put that one up on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
Oh,
The reason for that was
I saw it.
that was
I watched it, John.
Huh?
I watched it on YouTube on Flatwater Fly Fishers.
I didn't put it up there.
Yeah.
I saw it. I watched it. It was under Healing Waters.
Well, I put it up on the Healing Waters site.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you may find it on the Healing Waters site, but it should not be on Flatwater Fly Fishers.
Well, I put in Flatwater's Fly Fishing and your site came up and I clicked on that and I watched Dave Wilson.
Huh. Well, let me
Yeah.
go check that out because I'm going there right now. Let me just
Would,
copy this link first.
With Dave Wilson, is there any way we could buy the video or his?
I'm going to try to have him come, I'm going to reach out to him and see if, come September, I don't want to bug him that he just did for one that we'll have him come in September. But yeah, I will check again. I'm sorry that I didn't go out and get that yet. It's just craziness in the family household right now. So I'm just trying to catch up on stuff right now. And I would like to buy that video, but again, he's in Australia. So I don't know how that, if it comes out in a DVD in a different region or not, so we'll see. But
Did you-
if it's in the Project Healing Water, we could just use it from there.
Hey,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Oh,
What
Yeah,
you got, Eddie?
Here's your YouTube. I just put the YouTube
Nice,
link up
Eddie.
in the chat. Don't use the first one, use the second one.
What is that, Eddie?
that is called a belly ache minnow. I picked it up in Estes Park. It is an amazing fly. It's I looked it up, and there's a guy that does a demonstration on how to make it, but it actually, when you toss it out, you start stripping it back, the hook actually, the way it's weighted, it turns it over like this,
Okay.
so that they see that that red marking and stuff on the bottom.
Yeah.
And they were killing it. And I tried it down here yesterday, and I had a few look at it, but the fishing over at Merrimack Springs was just horrible yesterday.
Merrimack's is tough. Merrimack is always tough fishing.
Yeah, I've got a few flies for you guys to check out. I picked up out there. Oh, they use a lot of purples. Yeah, one guy from the one fly shop in Breckenridge was telling me that the fish tend to see purple faster than any other color.
Huh.
Now I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, he's a guide, and I went with what he said, and I ran the rig that he said. I ran a leech with a little purple like nymph below it, and that's what I caught my cutthroat on. So
Very cool. So it's something we'll have to try.
yeah,
And if you
I mean,
want to ever try, if you ever figure out how to tie it, you reverse engineer it. If you want, you could have the spotlight and tie
okay,
it up.
yeah,
We'd
I'll
be
look at
more
it and
than
see what I
happy.
can do.
Okay. So I'm trying to just looking at some of the things coming in. The big thing coming up is the Great Plains Bonefish Turn that John has. I'll get with you because I know at one time Scott Crone really wanted to go to that, and though I know he's been having some health issues, so not sure if we'll be able to make it or not, but I will get in contact with you, John.
Have you sent me his name already, Mick?
I think I have. I sent it
Yeah, just a
sometime back.
second here. Just a sec. Let me check real quick here.
Okay. And I need to talk to him. He had some procedures done and he said he's feeling better. He couldn't make it on tonight, but I'm hoping to talk to him to see if thinks he's okay for a road trip.
Okay.
Mm.
If not, I'll still just find a hotel out there or something, and I'll drag a couple people out there and we'll just get a hotel out there if something's available.
Just a second, almost there. Yeah, I got him. He's on the list.
Cool. Okay.
He's on the
What do we
list.
have going? What is the activity on the 17th at Huzzah Valley? Or is that canceled?
No, that's the 16th. It's
Or 16th?
16th, and you probably should have got the invite. Basically I think I forgot to put the 2 spots down. I'll let everyone know it's spots 84 and 85. If you've been there in the past, it's the same 2 spots where it's the 2 camping spots right where they put the canoes out. And so we show up there, it's from 9 to 3. I need to know, I'm glad you brought this up. Let me know if you plan on attending or not. Terry, I always have a hard time trying to get you on ours because it still has you at the different St. Louis. So I don't know if you got an invite or not. I try to sneak you in, but yes, you are invited always. I'm trying to get that converted over. Even Amy was like, she just wanted to cancel that St. Louis and we're only going to have one St. Louis program. But again, that's this Sunday, the 16th. let me just double check. Yeah, Sunday the 16th from 9 to 3. Let me know if you want to be there or not. Terry, send me a text. You guys could send me a text as well, because what I want to do is get a list of names where I say Project Healing Waters, and you guys are on a list that they could, you say, hey, I'm from Project Healing Waters. They'll see that your name's on it, and then they'll just charge the daily pass to me. And then at the end of the day, I'll go back there and pay off all the daily passes. That way you guys don't have to pay, because I think it's like $15 a day per person. And so we'll have the program pay for this. But if you RSVP, I could put you on the list and we don't have to worry about it. If you show up and you pay it anyway, I'll get you reimbursed. It's just a little bit more time consuming, where I could do one and, you don't even have to worry about paying out. It'll just, charge to me. You don't have to worry. So again, that's this Sunday. Again, spots 84 and 85. It's the same ones that we've had in the past. I'll bring out a little grill. We'll grill up some hot dogs and have chips and soda and all that. If you want to bring a dish, you can. If there's anything that you guys need, I could run to the shed and get us some tie-in material if you want. But it's a good social day. Sometimes the fish are a little bit on the smaller side. But it's a good time. I think, couple things I remember is Terry catching gar, and Jim caught a really nice smallmouth bass. So it's some kind of good fish in there. You never know what you could get. Some of the bluegill that are out there, or the pumpkin seed, they're really pretty. What else? Gar, trout can come from Westover. If they made their way through Dry Creek, they'll come out there. So it's kind of fun. I'll even bring my 10-carat rod if anyone wants to see that. It's fun. I was using that again over the weekend. I got to fish a little bit while I was at Bennett, and 10-carat makes it pretty easy. I didn't catch the stringer on the 10-carat. That was my Western 3-weight. So, but
That would have been a kick.
yeah, it was still.
Tough.
If you go on Friends of Bennett Spring, there's a video of it, and it's quite amusing. And then if you haven't seen it, I'll have my phone with me on Sunday, and I could show you. It just caught me by surprise. It took me a while to figure out what was going on and how I ended up, fighting something that was on yellow line, and I wasn't using yellow line, especially that thick, but it was pretty good. So outside of the Great Plains Bonefish, as I said, the national casting competition is being held at Bennett, and that's the 28th of August through 1 September. There's going to be probably 40 plus people out there. I think there's 16 different programs that are, or regions that are going to be out there, and they'll have their participant and their casting instructor. I already have a couple people out there that are really good at getting donations, getting some nice stuff from them from around the Lebanon area. So that should be a good day. September 8th, Vets Fish Free at Montauk. So that'll be the following weekend. So that might be tough going back to back, but that's always a fun event. And like I said, I still need to catch my first trout at Montauk. That's one state park that just skunks me out. I'm James Bond when it comes there. 007, 0 hits, 0 fish, 7 hours. So let me see. After that, we have 1 October, Union, Missouri, a Vets Fishing Day, and that's actually the American Legion out there that Walt and Scott belong to, and Scott is heading that up. So I do want to make sure we show up there in good force and support Scott with that, as Scott supports us.
So John, when is the Bonefish?
That is the
August 17th, 18th, and 19th. Travel days are the 17th and the 20th.
Yep.
And it's going to be fun. I just finished up finalizing the last little piece of it today. So now it's just a question of waiting until we get to go do it.
Okay. Yeah, no, we were just talking with Bradley earlier on catching carp on a fly rod. So again, that's like hooking a horse, so should be fun. Okay.
Fun fish.
Yep.
My daughter's out here with me now. And
Oh, cool.
just wondering if she can come out to some of our events.
By all means, family is welcome. And, you know, if you need some equipment, let me know. We will, you know, get, you know, extra rods. And I plan on ordering, I need a special order waders for you. Like me.
Yeah, I know.
We're a little bit thick and we can't shop off the rack. So, I'll be making some orders for those and
So we got to go to the sales shop.
yeah, yeah, the sales and just
Tent makers.
tent
There
makers.
you go.
Yep. You know, I need a
Nick,
whole-
if you're going to buy new rods, you can buy that new Reddington out there. I just got 6 of them and they're really nice.
okay, that's the plan is usually every year we get about 5 new participants.
Yeah.
So we've got funding right now, and I plan on trying to buy, you know, waders, wading boots, nets, vests, rods, and all that in preparation for getting new participants. It usually kind of comes to a use or lose situation when it comes to ending the fiscal year, and we will do our share that we give some back to headquarters so they could kind of cover Freedom Ranch and stuff like that. But I do want to make sure with all the donations coming in here is we're taking care of the veterans first.
My
So-
veteran count doubled this year. I went from 35 to 68.
Wow. Yeah, we have a lot sign up because
Yeah.
of Jefferson Barracks, but we rarely see any of them. So I think
Well, we
have,
do see, in fact, at my last outing, we had 30 some odd veterans show up.
wow. Yeah, ours is,
Biggest outing we've ever had here in Omaha.
yeah, we usually get around 8 to 10. But I would say we have 3 very dedicated participants right now.
Yeah, I signed up at JB. So
Yeah, so we got you, we got Scott, and then looks like Eddie bailed on us already. So those are our kind of 3 strong participants. I'm still trying to get it up. Funding there, I agree with how the headquarters is doing it. It's not based on how many participants you have, because St. Louis was always strong because we always had all these JB people sign up and then we would never see them. Now it's based on participants and on how well they're actually showing up.
Yeah.
So I think I had enough participants to only garner 5 heads. And so that's how
What,
5.
what if we fish with these veterans from the home? Do we get
That's-
credit for them?
We, you know, will still, I mean, our buddy Ken House, I've heard of, you know, dog whisperers and horse whisperers. He's our check whisperer. So he does bring in a lot of money for us where, once we get back up to JB and we're doing that, we will get additional funding. But with JB closed right now, we're not getting the funding. So, you know, we just have to deal with that. Now, the bad thing, you know, you might be like, oh, that's not fair. That's not fair. The amount of money that we bring in donations in St. Louis, we've got money. So if you need stuff to take care of these guys in the veterans home or JB, let me know what we need and I'll go get it. We have money, so don't fret about that. So
I'm
I'm
not
just,
saying that, you know, some of these guys might want to go on outings with us if we could. I'm just bringing that point up.
yeah, and
Because
that's,
Yeah.
The guys at a veterans home are not necessarily handicapped.
Yeah,
They're just there.
Well, my experience with the Missouri Veterans Home is that they want to inspect the area that you're gonna do. It has to have potties, they have to have nurses. It's a, you know, it's just not the guy doesn't roll off into your truck and into the sunset. It's a big deal, and I've never been able, one time, I think, one time we were able to go out to bush wildlife.
yeah. And that's, I will say, as you know, me for the program lead, I've got way too much with, you know, a full-time job and family, all that. Walt, if you, that's something you want to do, I would put you as the lead on that. And if you want to spearhead that, I will let you run with that.
Okay, I'll look into it. I'm not
Okay.
promising squat.
Yeah, I know. I get it. It's,
I mean, I said,
I'll-
hey, I'll do all this for the 13th, and I have to bail on it because of personal.
it all, everything, you know, I get it. It's, you know, family issues. It's 2023 has been tough for me, so I get it. And so
So
that's
Terry,
why,
we have to get these places like where we fish certified by the homes before they'll let us take their people out there.
It depends on the administrator of the day. They have different administrators going through here. It seemed like every 6 months, and issues changed, regulations changed, and again, we had them go out fishing one time, and in all the years that I had that program going there.
Yeah, Terry, and I went out on that one too, and that was one where they kind of set up the fishing thing and then asked us if we could come and
Right.
help. But they got concerns if they have anybody in a wheelchair, you know, what are the grounds like, you know, and
Bathrooms.
yeah, it's,
Well, this
it's
is
a lot
okay,
of work.
okay, let them, like, on the 12th, they're having their own fishing day on their own lake. If we go out and just help them.
That's fine.
yeah, that would be great.
That's
We
easy.
don't have to
'Cause-
sweat with all the regs and stuff.
Yep, no, that's easy. We're there to help. That's something we could easily do, but you know, like you were talking, or first, when you first brought this up, was getting people out there. That's a
Gonna be
lot of
hard.
work that I don't
Well,
have the
I'm gonna
time.
talk to Roslyn, I think his name is, tomorrow, or maybe even go out there.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah, those lakes are great. One is really reserved. There's another one you can fish on, but the one set aside for veterans, handicapped, special events. I know they'd do it, and it's just the difference of we're not setting up a fly fishing outing for them, but we can gladly support them because they had a bunch of spin casting rods and stuff that they had in their rec room. If they're going out and fishing and they need help from fishermen, we can easily do that.
that's
And that
easy.
alleviates and puts all the work burden and stuff on them, and we just show up to give them that helping hand.
Yes.
okay.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
we don't set up events then.
We could, but I will be the first to say I will not do that.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. I'm still working full time. I don't have the time to do something like that. Now, if somebody wants to do that, I will support them and we will help them along, but a little bit too much.
That falls like when we used to take the veterans out to Westover Farms. The Veterans VA Hospital set up the bus and accompanying nurse and, you know, and all the transportation getting them out there. And then we helped once they were there, get them out fishing.
Why don't we try something like that in the future?
You got it.
Okay,
You run it.
give me the checkbook.
I've got the money.
I think we ought to send Walt to Australia and get that guy.
Yeah,
And, We'll put him on a slow boat.
I can't take a hop?
No, you get a boat trip.
Oh, shit.
And there's only 2 sails because the third one was used for Lee and my waders. So outside of that, let me see. Did we lose? Yeah, we lost.
Jim's on.
Yeah, Jim's on, but Mr. Wright took off on us. So I was going to say, he kind of said that his Omaha Zoom meetings are taking a summer hiatus off. So Thursday meetings will start up in September, but I told him if he wants to send people our way on Mondays, we can. So I think that's all I got. We're at 7 o'clock. Does anyone have any of the last things you want to say, add?
It's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock your time, 7 o'clock ours.
Better go to bed.
Yeah, Lee and I are setting the bar. This is the first Zoom meeting. We got 2 people
2 campers.
are camping and attending.
That is
Where are you at?
Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, nice.
nice.
Did you find any place to fish there?
We've been doing some other things here.
Okay.
And a fishing license out here is not cheap.
Yeah, Missouri is nice. I mean, they want you to come fish, and their licenses are pretty cheap. You know, even for those out of state, it's
Yeah, that's even worse.
yeah. So let me see. I will try to come up with a fly for next week. It's coming on while I was at Bennett. I saw a bunch of different beetles out there, so I might do a foam beetle again. Those are fun, and it's that time that, you know, the terrestrials are falling out of the trees, and I even tried that, and I tried different ants and everything. I don't have time right now, but I'll show you something next week. I will tie while we're doing that. This thing is the kind of new hot thing at Bennett right now. Let me spotlight for everyone. So this little thing, and that's a size 18. People are doing it on 20 as well, no weight. If you're like, man, what is that little red thing? It is, let me remove the spotlight and change back.
You got any more of that stuff?
Amnesia. So again,
Oh yeah, I
same
got some of
line
that.
that I use for my leader is what that is. So again, that little guy is made out of amnesia. It takes all of no more than 5 minutes to do this. And this was a kind of fun little trailer fly that I was using. So again, under an indicator, and then I'd use my white thread jig that dropped the whole contraption down, and then about a foot and a half behind that, this was trailing behind it. And it was something new that the trout hasn't been seeing lately, and they've been nailing this. So kind of neat little pattern that I've never seen. They were tying these up at Larry's fly shop right outside Bennett. And so I watched them. It's an easy fly, and was working really good. So I'll do a foam beetle next week, and this is a quick 5-minute fly, so I'll add that as well. So that's all.
Nick, we
Go ahead.
still got to set up RV inside Bennett Park because your property no longer exists, right?
Yes. Yep. So yeah, my property is soon to be owned by Ben Haven, the hatchery manager. So that was kind of part of all the craziness this year, where I overexerted myself, and I kind of knew that, you know, my family was there watching and trying to work that land. When I retire, it's not going to happen. And when I overexerted myself, I was in the hospital for 3 days. So that's when I'm like, nope, we're not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to have, instead of the RV, I have a little trout shack now, a little mobile home with 2 bedrooms and everything. We could have people show up. It's where Kathy and Tom live, and a bunch of other people that I've met through Bennett. And then eventually we'll have another we'll have that place and then a place in Florida that will go back and forth. So I'm
So
gonna
is-
give up on the farm life.
So Haven's gonna buy that property?
Yes, he is.
Oh,
So
wow.
Ben Haven is gonna get that, and since we're still good friends with him and all that, I was offered more money from another gentleman, but I'd rather keep it with Ben. He's been, you know, a great friend. He's taken good care of us. So I'm sure he'll probably invite us out there once in a while to hang out there. So I figured that was the better deal for all. So
What is it? Your land's being sold or?
yeah, I'm selling my land. Like I said, 2023 has been crazy. And I was working on my daughter's actually, let me just cut the meeting right now. Did it stop? I don't see where I could stop the recording. Oh, well. Basically I was doing a full brake job on my daughter's car while Margie and my other daughters were just watching me work in the sun for just under 4 hours. And then I ended up getting heat exhaustion really bad that ended up in the hospital for 3 days. And I was like, it's not going to get any easier when I get older. So I decided I just wanted either like a townhome or a villa or a condo. That's something I don't have to worry about the outside. I just get to show up and then go fishing. And so that's why I've got the mobile home now. We're just kind of updating it a little bit. And now I don't have to worry about pulling the trailer. We just show up and go fishing. And then eventually we'll have another place similar out in near Destin, Florida. So I'll be doing freshwater fly fishing and saltwater fly fishing. So nice, relaxing, and not worrying about toting a tractor on the land. So it'll be more fishing, less working.
I got a nephew who's a realtor out in Fort Walton Beach.
Cool. I'll look them up. So things are going to be a lot easier. It's just like I said, thank you for bearing with me. I know I've been slow on getting some things, but it's just crazy couple months going on.
Nick, you've been doing great. Don't you worry
Thank
about
you.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sorry
for
about your dad.
Yeah, and I got sad news for a lot of you guys who know me and my family. Unfortunately, Molly crossed over to the Rainbow Bridge.
Oh,
So yeah, I lost my little fur baby. So
she's not that little.
yeah, she wasn't little, but we loved her to death. And she was
Yeah.
spoiled for her whole life. Great dog. It's just medical conditions finally caught up with her. So she's in a better place right now. So
Yeah, sorry for your loss.
yeah, thank you. I know a lot of you guys knew Molly too. So so if you
Tell Margie to say hi, and we're sorry.
will do, yeah. So if you
Yeah.
don't see her running around with us, she's running around in the big bark park in the sky. So yeah. So again, all this is going on, and like I said, things will get better. So we've got next Sunday we'll be meeting together, do some fishing. A couple good things coming up. I think that national casting competition in Bennett's going to be a blast. But before you know it, we'll already be in the catch and release at the parks, and we'll have a good time. So again, we're about 10 minutes over, so I will let you guys go. If you need anything, please reach out, email, text. I will get back with you guys, and I'll be sending out an email right after this to kind of help Walt with the veterans home and see if anyone could help out with the 13th. So if not, we'll be doing it the 27th. So any last go backs before I let you cut you guys loose? All right, gentlemen, have a good evening, and we will see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
All right, take care.
Hi, everybody. Sorry about that, Frank.